Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Black Lightning, Rom's review. Yeah, last night I watched the first episode of Black Lightning on the CW network. And, you know, it's black superhero. It was, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. First episode, I mean, it'd help if people had some type of, reference for it. Because, Black Lightning, DC comic book fans know who he is. And, they bringing him into the CW. And probably at some point, we'll probably get caught up with some of those other DC heroes. But, he's starting out in his own little town and stuff, right? And the basic premise of the story was, Black Lightning is back because they established he had kind of been out of the game for about 9 years. But it kind of starts off a little politically charged and stuff, right? Because apparently now I missed this first part of it. I hate to say why I missed it. It was a fun reason why I missed it. I'll put it like that. But, he stopped. Apparently his daughter was in some type of protest. Now, I didn't see that. Somebody might have saw that. They could probably talk to that. But, he had to get her out, get her out of from police custody, all that good stuff. And apparently was driving, he's driving in the rain and stuff. He gets stopped by a cop. And he actually handcuff him and then show him to this Asian woman who's in the backseat of this car, backseat of the police car, and was like, is this the guy? And, she was like, no. And it was like, oh, okay, they gonna get really political with this joint. Because that's when he was back, because it was like there was a point. These cops were acting like some dumbasses, and, his eyes kind of flashed showing his power a little bit. They didn't see it. Looked like he was about to go off. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, we're going to start off. Now, the character, Black Lightning, his alter ego is Jefferson Pierce, a high school principal. Somebody just making a difference in everything. He got 2 daughters and also an ex-wife. That's an interesting thing because they kind of co-parenting, but there's still like this sexual tension. And they kind of established later on the reason why she's an ex, because, she couldn't... he was getting hurt being Black Lightning back in the day. So, that's interesting and everything. And, I like, what, it was a very good because it was relevant. They had a realistic feel to it because they even had Roland Martin in there, right? They had Roland Martin because there's some other scenes that come up where he got to show more of his power. And so, the big news story, this vigilante is back. And, Roland Martin was like he was on his news show saying, well, why is he a vigilante but everybody else is a superhero? I was like, okay, all right. And, I really like it. Just, one, it was created by this black couple, Salim and Mara Brock Akil. So, that was a good thing. It was making it relevant. Because at first I was just like, kind of got that Luke Cage feel to it, vibe to it. As an aside, it's kind of interesting when they do a black hero, except for like the upcoming Black Panther. It was like one of those like city heroes, and they only dealing with like small time, like, well, drug dealers, drug lords, and small time criminals and stuff. And it's funny that the white heroes always seem to be dealing with supervillains who might be into some small stuff, but on some global shit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But, it's still cool anyway. And, Black Lightning was played by this gentleman, Cress Williams. Now, people who watched Living Single back in the day might remember him. I think the character's name was Scooter. He was Queen Latifah's boyfriend, big old dude, right, on Living Single. And here's an interesting piece of trivia about the brother, right? Here's an interesting piece of trivia about the brother. For those who are fans of Star Trek, particularly Star Trek Deep Space Nine, they remember this warrior alien race called the Jem'Hadar. And that brother was the first one that they, he was the first Jem'Hadar that they showed. And that actually is something else that came up back in the day about Star Trek, because they was like, the Jem'Hadar, this is a little tangent, but the Jem'Hadar at first was played by a lot of black actors. So I was like, okay. But you know what? Overall, I liked it. I mean, they established it, but it's like I had to remember it's a TV show. But I think it presents a great image. It presents a great image, more positive image. The dude was up there trying to do something, just even in his regular life. And even with, I really like the dynamic between him and his fine-ass ex-wife. I really like the dynamic because, you saw the still sexual tension and everything. And then you understand why they broke, why they did divorce. But at the same time, you could tell, it was all about that co-parenting. And I was like, wow. And of course, they got another sister in there. I think she's an assistant principal. That's creating some stuff. And you know what? I'm just on a practical thing. It's good to see beautiful black women like kind of representing, just from a brother's perspective, like really representing and stuff, right? And I mean, it got some interesting stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out and how it does. Now, and it's something, honestly, it's something that could go across. I mean, everybody can get into it, Yeah, it has a definitely black vibe to it and definitely a rhythm, but anybody can get into it. Ironically, it was a white comic fan who was really excited about it to me, like at the comic book store. And it was a female, and she was like, yeah, I can't wait to see this, So, what, check it. At least give it a chance because, if you really think about the prevalent images, especially of black males on TV, it's still like, even if they have the hero's still like that sidekick or something, right? And incidentally, speaking of sidekick, I found it interesting. They did have this one white character who was kind of like Black Lightning's, I'll say his Alfred. And I was like, all right. And, you get that from a political point of view. You got to have some identifiable white character in there. And apparently this dude was like a father figure to Black Lightning. I'll say, of course. But also, he's the one getting all the equipment and everything. But you know what? That's cool. Because the way they handled it, it was, it still wasn't stereotypical. But you knew it was coming. But and you know what? It's cool. But go ahead and check that joint out. Get it on demand or something like that. And like I said, the first episode, I wouldn't say the first episode, honestly, I wouldn't say it's like a pow knockout, like, I can't wait till the next. But you know what? It's pretty good. It's CW. It's the CW. And part of the CW thing is just have some, have some action, have some very extremely attractive people on there. I swear, whoever came up with that formula for there, because like I said, the sisters on there, good Lord. It was like, God damn, girl. For all your brothers out there, just watch it for that. It's like, good God. Yeah, shit. We got to have some loafer candidates on there. I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, y'all. But, yeah, check it out, man. It was a pretty good show. It was a pretty good show. It had, like I said, it had Roland Martin in that joint. It had a realistic feel to it. Like, you know what? There could be some dude out there with some lightning powers dealing with some stuff in a real way. Real way around the way. So, anyway, right. That's it for today. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.